Hello and welcome to Chomp Chat episode 2. I'm your host, Spencer Barrett, and I am really excited for this episode. I can't believe we're already at episode 2, even though it's literally the second episode, but I feel like I remember filming the last episode like it was yesterday. But anyways, I just want to kind of dive straight into things because there's a lot to talk about today, and this episode will be... Actually, I was going to say it might be pretty long, but who knows? Maybe it'll be just the same length as the last one. Anyways, I will just get straight into things. So, starting off, I want to talk about one of the biggest things that happened in this past month. The TikTok ban that lasted a whole 12 hours. Ignore that. It was the shortest ban ever. Because the whole thing about it is there was so much build-up and people posting secret facts about themselves, big content creators exposing themselves, all for it to come back. And there was all this hype. TikTok is getting banned January 19th. There was all these court hearings, all these, big posts saying how terrible this ban was, which if it did go through, it really would have been. TikTok is more than just an app where you go to watch videos. It's people's jobs. People have TikTok as their main source of income. There's small businesses that promote, and their main source of gaining new customers is TikTok. There's creators who have such a passion for making videos, and the only real way they can make those videos properly is on TikTok. But the government feels as though they need to ban TikTok, and that should be their priority, the app that probably literally contributes to their economy, instead of working on other things. During this time is when, for example, the LA wildfires were taking place, but they spent time banning TikTok. There was so many, that's just one example. There was so many issues to focus on, but they decided to focus on banning TikTok, which didn't even happen. Another weird thing about the TikTok ban is when it got unbanned, there was a message saying, thanks to President Trump's efforts, TikTok is now available again in the US, which was interesting. Because if you know, the inauguration was on the 20th. So he wasn't in office yet. Donald Trump didn't hold any power when TikTok got banned. So it's really weird how they say thanks to Donald Trump's efforts, because what could he really have done? This still hasn't really been specified, and we're still kind of wondering what happened to get it unbanned. But I know all that matters to a lot of people is that it's back. Businesses can thrive again. Creators can make their videos, and of course the viewers can watch their videos, which I know I am very excited about. To be completely honest, I don't know if I would have lived another day without TikTok. Even that night, it was hard to sleep. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but Instagram Reels doesn't do it the same. There was that one app that people were switching to that didn't do it the same. I'm not gonna go to YouTube Shorts. It wouldn't have been the same if it fully got banned and we just couldn't access it anymore. And it would split up communities. I mean, a lot of communities thrive on TikTok, and a lot of communities posts about their the things that they enjoy on TikTok, and that's how they find friends and other people with the same interests as them, which they don't typically find. So, yeah, it's really good that it was able to stay, but also really bad that this even happened in the first place. Moving on, at the time of recording, it is currently the 7th of February, which means Valentine's Day is approaching. The holiday of love. I know a lot of people get very excited about this holiday. I know personally, it's not really a big deal for me. But I think what a lot of people need to understand is that Valentine's Day is, before I get into that, Valentine's Day is commonly seen as just for kind of like couples and people who are together, but I feel like Valentine's Day should be appreciated as more than that. It should be appreciated as a day to recognize your love for yourself and your family and your friends. Your family and your friends. And you shouldn't feel, sad when Valentine's Day comes around and being like, another Valentine's Day while I'm single. Just take the time to really appreciate yourself and your self-love and your family and your friends. Also, the good part about not having anyone on Valentine's Day is you don't got to spend money on your partner. You can just stay home. Actually, maybe you can even go out and buy some chocolates for yourself. But anyways, moving on. It is time for the segment on the episodes where we talk about a random review in which we do a piece of media that has been popular recently, such as a book, movie, show, or game, or something along those lines. So what I've chosen to do this time is something that is a little bit older, but is still really relevant and something that I would really like to talk about, and that is Smile 2. This movie is a sequel to the first Smile movie, which was critically acclaimed. It was an amazing movie. And this is the type of movie where the sequel is better than the original. This movie is amazing. It goes into that psychological horror aspect. So we follow a pop star who got over an addiction, and she goes over and she gets the curse from the smile demon, and it's basically ups the stakes because she's famous. She's a big pop star, and she's had a traumatic past, so it takes a huge toll on her, in contrast to the first movie. And honestly, I don't even know if you would need to see the first movie to enjoy this film as much, because I feel like because they're similar in at least a certain way, you can still understand what's going on. I'm sure the first movie gives some more context and you would probably understand it better, but even if you don't feel like you want to watch the first one before you watch the second one, I would still recommend you to watch the second one. It's an amazing movie. It definitely focuses more on the psychological aspect. In the horror sense, there are a few jump scares mixed in there, and it has some insane twists. It is a really good movie, and I honestly think anybody who has any interest in horror at all should definitely watch it. It's awesome. The presidential inauguration has happened. Donald Trump is now the 45th and 47th president of the United States. He's the first president to ever do something like that, which I guess props to him. But of course, there is some controversy surrounding him, as any real political anything will have some kind of controversy surrounding it. It's mainly regarding some of his policies and some of the stuff that he did, which are not in benefit of the people. For example, he enacted 25, I don't know if it was exactly 25%, but he enacted tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico, and this is going to make things more expensive, as tariffs do. It makes them more expensive for the people to afford, and in an economy that's already struggling, and in an economy that already has a good amount of inflation to it. So this really isn't ideal for a lot of people. There is also the fact that he recently pardoned the January, I don't know if he pardoned all of them, but he pardoned a lot of January 6th rioters that stormed the Capitol, which they're criminals. They are criminals, and they rioted and they harmed others. And there was even an article regarding the fact that one of these people who was pardoned by him committed a crime days after he was pardoned, which is just really not ideal. And I think that these people, I don't think these people are criminals, and they did things wrong, and he just pardoned them, which I really don't think should have happened at all. Anyways, he is the president of the United States for the next 4 years. So there are a lot of very unfortunate policies that a lot of people very much dislike. But that's just the way things are. Anyways, I hope school has been going good for all of those Gateway students who are watching by any chance. I think I've been off to a pretty good start this year. This year has been pretty exciting. I remember at first, in the first episode, I kind of mentioned how I really regret taking 2 AP classes, which, as the year's gone on and as I've worked harder, I don't think it's that bad. I don't necessarily know if I would recommend someone who's coming into high school to take 2 AP classes their very first year. And I know that they are now, I think, offering AP Psych to freshmen. So I guess freshmen could technically take 3 APs. Don't do it. Literally don't do it. Do not take 3 AP classes. As a freshman going in, the thing with Gateway Middle School is there's not, as many honors classes. For example, we don't offer honors history, for example, or an honors science class. So jumping straight into AP from that level can hit hard, and a lot of people need to recognize that, and hopefully just know, if you are, for example, if you are a middle schooler who is coming into freshman year and you're wondering if you should take AP classes or not, I would definitely say that it's not going to kill you, and it is, for me at least, it's been a good challenge. But if you, in your opinion, don't want to have that big of a jump immediately and just automatically go from those kinds of classes to, stockpiles of work and just a ton of stuff to be doing, then I would definitely recommend that you stay on your own pace and what you feel you want to do. If you don't want to put that much pressure on yourself, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to put a ton of pressure on yourself. And even though I take AP classes, I've tried to not put as much pressure on myself. Even though, I have to get that work done and I have to do what I have to do. I just, just try my best to make sure that I'm not pushing myself beyond my limit. And I think that whatever you think your limit is, and if that ends up just being honors classes or 1 AP or 2 APs, now that 3 is an option, or even if you want to take 3 APs, do what you feel you would benefit the most from. Anyways, this is going to wrap up this episode of the Chomp Chat. I had a lot of fun with this one. It was fun to record. I liked adding that new little review segment. And I'll definitely be doing that with the rest of the episodes. Hopefully some good stuff comes out before the next episode, and there's some good stuff for me to review. Maybe it'll be a movie next time. We'll see. But yes, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in March.